And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I am here with a very special pre-Thanksgiving in the U.S. Edition with a celebrity pre-launch event. Anthony Horowitz, New York Times bestselling author and gentleman extraordinaire, is joining us live from London to give us the inside scoop on his brand new red-hot book, Twist of a Knife. Anthony, welcome back to Mystery and Thriller Mavens.
It's lovely to be talking to you again, Sarah, and my apologies for being a little bit late. This is not being celebrity or anything. It is just that I've had terrible internet problems tonight. I'm talking to you from Orford, which is on the east coast of England. The weather here has been like a force 8 gale. We've had so many computer and internet problems today that I was frightened. I was just bashing away at my computer, trying to connect with you and feeling like murder was about to happen. So again, my apologies.
Do you think that there's a chance that this could be taking a scene in your next book? You're desperately trying to log on.
Well, funnily enough, I've written loads of books here in this house in Suffolk. It's just a little tiny place on the river, and it is the most wonderfully inspiring place for this sort of book.
Wonderful. Well, Anthony, we are live. We are going live to 6 different destinations. We have oodles of people joining us on everywhere across the internet, from Facebook and YouTube. Welcome, everyone. We're so happy you're here. If you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome. We're so happy to have you. Here's the drill. Every Monday for #Mystery Monday, because Mondays can be murder, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So ask Anthony about the twist of a knife. Ask him about his bumbling character, Anthony Horowitz. Ask him about this Hawthorne character. Ask him how he stays motivated. So many theater questions. We got a lot to talk about, and it's all going down right here. If you have any questions for Anthony, get them going in the comments. I'll get them right over to him. And Anthony, meanwhile, I'll kick off with some of my own. So tell us about the twist of a knife, your Horowitz-Hawthorne pairing extraordinaire.
Well, I think Hawthorne would say it was a Hawthorne Horowitz rather than Horowitz Hawthorne, because he's the detective and I am merely the reporter, the sidekick. I am the sort of, Watson to his Holmes. But in this book, it's a little bit different, because as well as being the sidekick, which I've been in the 3 books before it, the word is murder, and then the sentence is death, and then a line to kill. In this book, as well as being the sort of the sidekick, I am also the number 1 suspect. The story begins with a play of mine being performed in a theatre in the West End of London. The play is called Mind Game. And I should tell you at once, Sarah, that this is all 100% true. I did write a play called Mind Game. It was performed at the Vaudeville Theatre in the West End of London. And I'm afraid to say it did not get the best of reviews either. You could say it divided the critics half and half. Half of them hated it and half of them loathed it. And that's what happens in this play. But I get a particularly bad review in this book, I should say. That's what happens. And the one particularly bad review comes from a writer called Harriet Throsby, who writes the most horrible piece about me. And the next day, she is found murdered with a knife in her chest. The knife belongs to me, and it has my fingerprints on it, a hair from my head on her body. And so I become the main suspect. And the only person who can save me is Hawthorne. But the 2 of us have fallen out, and I wonder if he'll even answer the phone call. So that is the premise of the book, and that is where we are now.
Well, Anthony, you hooked us good. I had no idea that you actually wrote a play called Mind Game that did get some mixed reviews, shall we say, and perhaps had you feeling quite murderous.
Well, no, I wouldn't say I was murderous. The funny thing about my life is this: people have said to me, is this a book that is hostile to critics? Is it your revenge on critics? Is it fun murdering a critic? But the funny thing is that I've had great reviews in my life. I've had less great reviews, and the truth is that reviewers are writers just like me. They are doing a job just like me, and I don't have any animus against them, even when I find myself at the sharp end of their comments. In fact, I'll be honest with you, the only reviews I read these days, especially for books, are the ones sent to me by my publishers, and they only send me the good ones.
Well, I think that is wise of them to only send you the good ones. Best for Anthony Horowitz not to be feeling murderous. Best for him not to be in a murderous rage, armed with a dagger, bearing a Celtic knot that's quite...
I am a very calm person.
A very calm person. Well, I love it. Christine, welcome to the conversation. She said, "Oh my God, this sounds fabulous." Yes, Christine, it is fabulous. All of Anthony's books. What I love about Anthony's books, so his play in the book, Mind Game, which I've just learned was an actual play that he wrote, is a quote, thriller comedy. And I think it's fair to say that, Anthony, you write thriller comedies. I found myself, as I always do, laughing out loud as I read the book. Most recently in the scene where your character, yourself, Anthony Horowitz, is watching TV with his wife, trying not to let her know that he's a suspect in the Crosby murder.
Well,
And they're watching Game of Thrones, which, as you said, you're so distraught about the murder, you can't even lose yourself in the gratuitous dismemberment and sex. And I laughed out loud.
Well, first of all, can I just say thank you to Christine for her nice comment, and of course to you too, Sarah. You know, I think that the humor in the books is part of the is I think the sort of it's what's making these books so popular, because I am trying to write whodunits that are as clever and as twisty as the great writers like Agatha Christie, whom of course I revere, and Dorothy L. Sayers and Ellery Queen, and all the sort of the murder mystery writers that I've read since I was a boy. But I'm doing it in a different way because I think that the characters, the two characters, myself and this really not terribly nice detective, are quite fun to be with. And the relationship between us and the banter, and particularly Hawthorne. I don't do banter, I'm just a sidekick. But Hawthorne sort of does have quite a sort of an acerbic tongue. And I think that the relationship between us, which is a fond one, we are becoming more and more friendly as the books go on. And I think that's what readers are enjoying, as well as the sort of the surprise ending and the identity of the killer and all that.
I agree. Because I think at the baseline, everybody loves to laugh. Who doesn't love to laugh? So
well, to be honest with you, we need to look at the world around us at the moment and all the things that are happening. I think that especially as winter draws in and it gets colder and the nights are darker and we look at what's happening in the news all over the world, the temptation to get into bed with a fire blazing and a really good murder mystery is a very strong, it's overwhelming. It's all I want to do when it gets to about 10 o'clock at night. But also if there's some humor in there and some fun, I think that's also very much what we need right now.
Exactly. And actually, so it's going to be Thanksgiving here on Thursday. So I'm with my family here in Philadelphia. And last night I was sitting and reading in front of a roaring fire with my aunt. We were both reading murder mysteries. I was, of course, reading The Twist of a Knife. And I found myself thinking, I've got my cup of tea, a roaring fire. This is my ideal night. This is just absolutely perfect.
It is perfection. I agree. And I want to just say, since you mentioned it, but on the 24th, I am myself cooking a turkey. I have 2 American visitors coming over. I've managed to find a turkey. Not easy in England at the moment because all the turkeys are very hard to get. And I'm going to do try my hand at a pumpkin pie without the strychnine.
Wow. Wow. Anthony, I didn't know you were a chef as well.
I'm not a great chef, but I do have a few recipes. And fortunately, turkey is one of them.
Wow, that's so great to know. Now, Anthony, actually, okay, we have so many things. Okay, I can't wait to get to all these fabulous comments. Thank you so much. So we have a mystery user saying that they love that you pull so much from your own life. So tell us about that. Do you play the piano? Is that what your flat looks like in London?
I have actually sold that flat now. The flat that's described, which was in Clerkenwell in the centre of the town, the book is set a few years ago, so I was living there at the time. The piano was very much there, and everything is very much as described. Because, this whole idea of these books is that, putting myself in the books was not sort of part of a look at me sort of thing, or aren't I clever? It was all about the idea of twisting the whodunit on its head, because normally the writer is the cleverest person in the book. After all, the writer, the author, knows who commits the murder long before the murder is committed, because it's all planned in the writer's head. But if you're the sidekick, you're the stupidest person in the book. You know nothing at all. And I sort of thought that was quite an interesting thing to do, to write from the perspective of being not very clever. And in fact, if I got involved in a real murder mystery, I would be the last person to guess it, I can promise you. But yeah, it is very much my world. It is my life. A lot of people ask me about Jill, the character who is my wife. Yeah. She is very much my wife. And it's funny, when the book came out in England, a lot of interviewers to me said, we just don't believe that if you were accused of murder, you would not tell your wife. And I said, oh my God, she is the last person I'd tell. She would be so annoyed. Jill and I have been married for 37 years now. We are very, very happy together. But boy, I do not bring her problems. Like, excuse me, dear, are you busy producing my next film? Well, sorry to interrupt you. My wife is a producer, by the way, a film and TV producer. Sorry to interrupt you on set, but I've just been arrested. Oh, no, I would never charm.
So you know what? I'm so glad you said that, because I was wondering, because in the book, Anthony Horowitz is arrested for murder. He has to sleep on this filthy mattress, a foul-smelling pillow, a plastic sheet. He's processed in, which was very specific. And I noticed in your acknowledgments that you shared that someone, a detective, had helped you to make that very realistic. And I thought to myself, is it possible that Anthony Horowitz would not tell his wife Jill? And now we know that is true.
That is absolutely true. And incidentally, with description to the prisons, I do know very well because for many years I used to do prison visits. I used to go and talk to young people, particularly young people who were in jail for a very long period of time. So, in other words, young people who had committed murder or the most serious crimes. And I would go in there to try and just to talk books and literacy and reading with them because there's not a lot to do in prison. And one thing you can do is go to the library and get a book out. So I was working there and I did see inside prisons and so have a good sort of knowledge of what those places are like. Fortunately, I've never been in one for longer than just a visit.
Very good to know. Thank you for all of this background information. I absolutely love it. And we have another mystery user saying that they are listening to the new novel now. Excellent. I love audiobooks. Colleen C, welcome. Oh, Anthony, did you have something to say about that?
I was going to say, if you're listening to them, I'm very, very lucky because I have Rory Kinnear in England who narrates them. And I think he does an absolutely wonderful job. And I'm so blessed to have such a talented actor who has now done 4 of my books and hopefully will do the next 8 because you're hearing it here first. That's how many I'm planning, 12 in total.
And wow, first of all, thank you for telling us here first. I love when people tell us secrets. Why 12, Anthony? What's the magic number of 12?
I just like the number. It feels like a good round number. And having done 4, I'm beginning in the books to drop clues about who Hawthorne is, what made him such a difficult human being. There's something that happened to him when he was a child in a place called Reeth in Yorkshire. And in this new book, we meet his sort of his adoptive brother, and we hear about a company that he works for. And there are all sorts of clues about his life that are being laid in. And I'm looking at how many more books I've got until I reveal the secret of what happened to him to make him such a damaged human being. And I reckon there's another 8 approximately to go.
Ooh, very cool. Thank you for that inside scoop. I love it. And I can't wait for the next 8. Colleen C, welcome to the conversation, joining us from YouTube. She says, hi, Anthony. I love your work so much. Congratulations on the TV version of Magpie Murders, by the way. She'd like to know what gave you the idea to make yourself a character in the series?
Well, I think I'm on to that last part of this already, Colin. As I said, it was just writing a murder mystery from the perspective of the most stupid person rather than the most clever person. Being inside, and the fun of it is that if Hawthorne doesn't solve the mystery, I don't have a book. And that really changed my relationship with him. I'm 5 steps behind him. I never know what he's thinking. I don't know who the lead suspect is. And I'm sort of saying, look, we've got to get on with it. We've done 200 pages. You've got to find out who did it now because I need to finish this book and get on with the next one. So it just changes the perspective. And thank you for saying you enjoyed Magpie Murders. It was a labor of love. My wife, Jill Green, the one to whom I would never say I had committed a murder or been arrested for one, was the producer of that show. It finished on PBS just yesterday, I believe. So it's had a 6-week run. And it's been very, very popular. I've been looking on Twitter and getting some lovely comments from America. And we're hoping to do the sequel of Magpie Murders, Moonflower Murders, also with Leslie Manville in the lead. And we hope to start shooting that next year.
Oh, Anthony, how wonderful. Congratulations. That's so fabulous. And Colleen, thank you for joining us. I love your little profile picture of you.
With a book. Lovely.
Adorable. And how fabulous to know that more shows are coming. I know I've read every book in the series and loved them, so I can't wait to see them on the screen as well. And even cooler to know that Jill, your wife, produced them.
Well, she and I worked together for most of our marriage. I mean, the series Fool's War, which was 16 years of writing and producing, we did that together, thought it up together, produced it together, and just lived the world of the Second World War for 16 years together.
Now, Anthony, how does it work if you have creative differences? If she says, I see this person in this role, or I see this going differently, but you as the author don't see it that way, what do you do?
Sarah, I've learned one thing in my long life, which is that Jill is much, much cleverer than me. And if she says something is wrong or she wants a certain thing done, yeah, I might argue with her. But at the end of the day, I nearly always cave in because she knows best. When we were doing Magpie Murders, she had an idea for the script. And if I had listened to her in the first place, I'd have saved myself 4 or 5 months of trying to get this script to work. But she knew immediately how to do it right. And I should just listen to her. She's marvelous. She's just she's so clever. Occasionally we do talks together, when you should get her on a Zoom one day because she knows so much about the world of film and TV and murder mystery and everything else. She's very, very smart. I'm a lucky man.
Oh, well, first of all, kudos to you for realizing this womanly superiority early on. And second of all, I would love to have you both and to hear how you work together. That sounds fabulous.
I used to say that when we were doing Fool's War, Second World War drama for all those years, some couples would argue in the evening about whose turn it was to wash up. We'd argue about how many Spitfires I was allowed to shoot down. She'd say, the production can't afford 3 Spitfires, Anthony. Make it just 1. And we'd talk. That was what we'd argue about. But it's lovely to have somebody to whom I'm so close and who I trust so much working with all the time. It makes life very, very enjoyable.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Now, Anthony, this book centers on this scathing, cutting, personal review from this malcontent, ornery critic who then turns up mysteriously murdered. But fortunately, Anthony, the book itself is earning rave reviews. So let's take a peek at some of those. So let's kick off first. I'm going to pop these up on the screen so we can all read them together. Booklist is raves that Horowitz is a master of misdirection. And his brilliant self-portrayal, wittily self-deprecating, carries the reader through a jolly satire on the publishing world. So first of all, congratulations on this rave review. Let's talk about the art of misdirection, because when you're a reader, you have to trust the author. You don't want to feel duped. You don't want to feel tricked. And you don't want to, as a writer, you don't want to treat the reader unfairly, but you do want the thrill of the chase. So how do you balance that? How do you become a master of misdirection?
Well, Sarah, it's a wonderful question. And thank you for putting your finger on the most important thing for me, which is that when I write one of my murder mysteries, every single clue has to be in plain sight. When you get to the end of the book, the first thing that matters to me is that when the killer's identity is revealed, you shouldn't feel cheated. You should feel that you had all the information in front of you. But the secret of questioning, the big question is how do you present that information in a way that the reader does not realize that that is what matters? And so there are many ways of doing that. One of them is that I use the sidekick, in this case myself, always to look in the wrong direction. So if there are 2 things on the table, here I have a bottle of vinegar and I have a little fish full of pepper, then my character will be asking all about the vinegar in the bottle, but might only just mention the pepper, and that's where the poison is. It's in there, not in there. So it's always misdirection. It's always pointing at the thing that matters less and trying to avoid the thing that matters most. And it's also about sort of making sure that the clues only makes sense if seen from a certain direction. I mean, it's all about, there's a sort of a magic involved in it. That's something, it's like those silhouettes games you used to get sometimes, where you can do a sort of a thing with your hands and the shadow suddenly forms an animal. That's in a sense what I'm doing with the book. The clues are there, but it's only when you turn them to the light in a certain way that they come together and they form the solution to the murder mystery. So that's some of the way of doing it. It's about all the things that I've loved in life since I was a little boy. Magic and illusion and secret passages and tricks of one sort or another all come together. I mean, sleight of hand is one of my favorite things in the world. And when I'm writing a murder mystery book, I'm trying to see if there's a coin around here to illustrate this with. But when I'm writing a murder mystery book, and I haven't got one, I can. It's just I wrote an episode of Fool's War called The French Drop. And I'm looking for a coin to show you the French drop, where you seem to play something in that hand, but in fact it's in this hand. You're doing the same thing in a book.
It's fascinating, Anthony, because what you said about the clues, when you look back at them, are in plain sight. Because I have read now all 4 of the Hawthorne and Horowitz, or Horowitz and Hawthorne, however you want to say, series. I'm a huge fan of them. They're so they're so magical together. And you're right. When you go back, you're like, how did I miss this? And so for book 4, I thought, I'll be watching you, Anthony Horowitz. You're not going to get it past me this time. But then, of course, you did. So there is, I think, a mastery of it, of that misdirection. I love this.
Well, you're very kind, Sarah. It's so lovely talking to you, because you say the things I most want to hear. When I finish one of my books and I send it to my publisher, I don't ask them, did you like it? I say, did you guess it? That's always my first question, because to me, I sometimes people tell me they guess the ending. I mean, I have my American publisher. He's very, very sharp. He's read all of Agatha Christie. He knows his murder mystery inside out. And he sometimes guesses my books. And I say to him, how did you guess? And he'll tell me. And then I'll take that piece out. If he finds one clue that's given the game away, I take it out of the book before it's published. But by and large, if somebody guesses, it doesn't bother me. I mean, that's part of the fun. I've occasionally guessed murder mysteries and I feel really pleased with myself. But really, I want people to be bamboozled. I want to trick people. That's the sort of the fun of it for me.
Yes, exactly. And as a reader, I want to be bamboozled. I want to be tricked. I want to feel very clever and smart and try to figure it out, but I don't actually want to figure it out. And so it's an interesting balance between reader and writer. And I love how you've I love that. And I love that you don't ask your publisher, did you like it? You ask, did you guess it? What a fabulous approach. I love that. I love that. Christine saying, Anthony is fascinating, so animated, and I cannot wait to get my hands on one of his books. She goes on to share that Wednesday is her birthday. Happy early birthday, Christine.
Happy early birthday to you, Christine. I hope it's a very happy one. And I should mention you, one of my books, I've written 55, so you've got plenty to choose from.
You got plenty to choose from. She says she will be putting this on her wish list. And good news, Christine. You can do that through our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, Murder by the Book. So pre-order now, everyone. I'm going to pop the link up right now so we can all see it. So no matter where you're watching from, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere at all, you can pre-order Twist of a Knife. What a perfect holiday or birthday gift for yourself or for the mystery lover in your life. So here it is, everybody, grab it. And then also, Christine, good news, Anthony has a backlist of 55 books, so he'll keep you busy. He will keep you busy for a while. Anthony, I want to go on and talk about another review, and then I'm going to get over to some more of these questions. Kirkus Reviews calls this the most conventional of your books. I was interested to see that. The most conventional of the whodunits. Let's pop this up as well so we can all take a look at it. The most conventional of Horowitz's mysteries to date still reads like a golden age whodunit on steroids.
It's a funny review, that. Listen, Kirkus, I respect them greatly. They've given me many, many star reviews, and I'm very grateful to them. But when they said it was the most conventional of my mysteries, I did raise an eyebrow a little bit because I didn't quite know what they meant. But I think it might be that the theatre setting is a very traditional, conventional area in which to set a murder mystery. There have been many, many murders set in the world of theatre, and it is quite an old-fashioned world, especially in the West End of London. We're talking here about old Victorian theatres with that creaky stage machinery at the back and the little tiny dressing rooms and all that. So it's a reasonable comment. But the point is that they liked it. Now, I think you'll find that when the softcover comes out next year, it might well have on the back of it a golden age whodunit on steroids rather than the most conventional of my mysteries.
Yeah, I also was interested by that. Of course, all the props to Queen Kirkus, but I thought to myself, I don't really think it didn't feel especially conventional to me. It's got that fabulous sort of jolly, jovial. You're going to have an adventure. You're going to feel safe within these pages. There's not going to be any gratuitous gore, violence. It's got that classic Horowitz, but it's so fun to read. So I was very interested in that as well. Ashley, welcome to the conversation. She said, I've caught on to the misdirection, and I am hoping I guess this one before the end. Ashley, let us know if you do, okay? Report back. She says she has a birthday next Tuesday. Happy
birthday, Ashley. It's another birthday. How lovely.
And Ashley, sounds like it would be a good gift for yourself. Here's the link as well.
And I just want to say to Ashley and Stanley that you can find me on Twitter very easily, and if you do guess it, do let me know. As I say, it's the first thing I want to know.
Ooh, yes. Let us all know. So all the conversation continues over in Mystery and Thriller Maven. So we all start reading them together, and then we finish the conversation over in Mystery and Thriller Mavens, where we dish all the dirt, spill the tea. So everybody, it's free and open to all. Come on over and join us in Mystery and Thriller Mavens. And you have Anthony's personal invitation to
I should go to you now, Sarah. Now that I've got that address, I should come to you rather than having to go to Twitter. That's a much better place to pick up comments. Who knows if Twitter will even be here next week anyway.
Okay. Fabulous. I love it. I want to get over now to Krishna. Welcome to the conversation. I love your little dog, Krishna. Anthony's character, Anthony, has a dog as well in the book. She would like to know, of all your series, is there a particular one that you love?
Oh, Krishna, that is a difficult question to ask. It's like asking me which is my favorite child.
Yeah, but we all know you must have a favorite child. So let's
think that the Hawthorne series is shaping up to be my most successful series yet. It's really breaking out and people are loving it. So I have a great fondness for it. But I will answer your question honestly and say that the real love of my life in my writing is a series of children's books about a teenage spy called Alex Rider. I've written 14 of those books. I finished the 14th book today, as a matter of fact. I was working on it this afternoon, and I finished it just about a couple of hours ago. And in fact, I will shortly be having a celebratory glass of wine with my wife because it's a big deal to finish a book. The reason I love those books is that I'm told that a great many young people have discovered the love of reading because of Alex Rider. They've come to those books, and the adventure and the fast pace have got them into the world of literature. And I do have this belief that one of the most important things in the world right now is to share books, to share literacy, to tell stories, to read fiction, because fiction is what brings us all together. In a world in which we are ever more separate and apart, fiction, it tells us where we've come from, how people think, where they've come from, and brings us together in a very special way. So to introduce young people, and also for that matter, where will we be if we don't have new readers coming in to buy books from the independent bookstores, to go to libraries, to enjoy books, to come to talks like this one? If we don't encourage them young, it'll die out. So Alex Rider is very close to my heart as a series of books because it has brought kids into reading.
I love that, Anthony. I totally agree. And it's interesting because in Twist of a Knife, we see reference to the Alex Rider series when Anthony is arrested, even, and the police officer says, "Oh, my son is a huge fan. You got him reading through the Alex Rider." And it's so lovely to see that. And that
in another of the books, I think it was the one before it, A Line to Kill, there was a character who kept every single character in the book got the name of the character wrong. He said, "I love your Alec Rider." Or I've read all your Alice Rider and Zach Rider and Alan Rider. And I kept on saying, no, it's Alex Rider, Alex Rider. So again, I am gently teasing myself in these books. And but these things happen. People get the names wrong. And it is true. But I get a lot of people saying to me that their kids love Alex Rider. Always happy to hear it, of course.
And you know what? It actually does give me hope for the world, because there is a resurgence in reading, and there is, reading is becoming fashionable, and I see that uptick in reading, and it's really lovely to see. And I love what you said about, in a world that's increasingly divided, books and reading bring us together, and that's what's brought us all here together today: the love of reading and the love of reading mysteries. So thank you for that, Anthony. Krishna is saying she loves Alex.
Oh,
right?
There you are, then. So I was preaching to the converted, but that's lovely to hear that, Krishna. I'm so happy to hear it. The Alex books are for kids mainly, but what's interesting about them also is that I wrote them so long ago, but the kids who read them age 10 and 12 are now 20 and 22 and even 30 and 32. So one of the reasons I write these adult novels is to sort of continue writing for the same audience. I don't want to let them go. If you read me when you were a kid, now you can read me as an adult, I want to say. So that's one of the reasons I do these murder mysteries.
Oh, I didn't know that. How fabulous. Colleen says Rory Kinnear is incredible as the narrator. She's listened to the whole series and he's outstanding. Anthony, do you get to choose the voice, or do they choose it for you?
They chose it, but as soon as I heard it was Rory, I was sold. Because first of all, in setting, his father was a very, very famous actor, and I actually wrote for him in one of the movies I wrote. So his father, Roy Kinnear, was a great hero of mine. So to work with his son is a very special for me.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really very cool to know. Anthony, I want to get over to this other review. I'm going to pull it up here so we can all take a peek at it. Publishers Weekly awarding you a starred review, which you have wholly earned, saying this humorous homage to Golden Age closed circle mysteries is not to be missed. So congratulations.
That was a lovely review as well, sir. As I say, my publishers do send me all the good ones. So these ones I have read, and that was very, very happy to hear that. And I'm glad again that they mentioned the humor in it, but the fact that these books do have a sense of humor and lots of jokes.
So Anthony, it's actually, I've learned from reading and also trying to write that it's not actually easy to be funny on the page or on the stage. Humor is freaking hard, actually. But you are funny. And like I said, I was sitting and reading with my family last night in front of the fire, and I would periodically laugh out loud, and they'd all turn to me and say, "What's so funny?" And I'd read them the passage and we'd all laugh. What do you think the secret is to being funny, to making someone laugh out loud?
So if I answer that question, I'm not trying to ever make anybody laugh again. It would be so sort of, giving away the secret of it all. I mean, is there a secret?
I don't know.
I think it's just laughter in books is about surprise. It's about observation. It's about character. I think it's about everything that makes me want to write. I love I love the sort of idea of sort of the unexpected happening. You know, when a joke, there's always something unexpected. The oldest joke in the world is somebody slipping on a banana skin or falling down a manhole. And why do these things make us laugh? Because they're a surprise, they're unexpected. And that's what murder mysteries are all about. Are about exactly the same thing. So murder, I've never said that before. I've only just thought it up as I speak to you now. But it does seem to me there is a correlation between somebody being murdered and somebody slipping on a banana skin. These are both things that happen which you weren't expecting. I think I'd prefer the banana skin to the murder now I think about it, but apart from that.
I love it. I love it. Patricia would like to know, is the book available on DVD?
Do you know, Patricia, I don't think it is anymore. I'm not sure. I had this conversation with my publisher a week or two ago, and even she didn't know. These days, because we're in the digital age, it's all downloads, isn't it? You just go straight to, to your phone or to your computer, and you download it. And I maybe they are on DVD because I have got some myself on DVD, so they must be. And libraries, I think, borrow them and lend them out on DVD. So
Actually, Anthony, I just looked it up because I always love to give. I want our audience to really get what they need here. So fabulous news, Patricia! Murder by the Book has it on DVD. So here, I'm going to post the link. I just found it.
You put me to shame. You know more about my books than I do.
Anthony, that's my job to support you. So everybody, here is the link to the DVD. You can also, of course, download it as an audiobook, but here is the link to the DVD for all those who like to listen and who prefer DVDs. Right here you go, my friends. Right here you go.
Murder by the Book is very, very worth supporting. I went there, I visited there years and years ago, and I haven't in recent years done an American tour, but it's a wonderful store, and we need to support our independent bookshops.
Yeah, and Patricia's saying CD. Yes, Patricia, this is it, the CD, the link I just posted. So right here is the CD for you. It's also available in large print for those who prefer to read it in large print. And it is, of course, available in hardcover in the traditional size font. So I'll post that as well. Whatever you need, here we have it. So here's the large print. And then I'm going to pre-order the hardcover as well. So whatever you need, we have got it for you, friends. We have got it for you. So here is the hardcover as well. So there you go, Patricia, whatever you need, my friend. Also, I want to get over to this fabulous review. Winnipeg Free Press says, A Line to Kill is utterly entertaining and a magnificent pleasure. And it is quite pleasurable to read. So let's take a look at that. We also have the Washington Post deemed the book, it said that it promises that it will enchant the reader. So congratulations on that. And it is quite enchanting. Anthony, what is one thing that you've never told anybody about this book, about this series, that you would like us to know?
Well, first of all, which book are you talking about? A Line to Kill is number 3 in the series. Twist of a Knife is number 4 in the book. And I will tell you one thing that I haven't told anybody and which nobody knows, which is that when I wrote it, The Twist of a Knife, it was called A Twist of the Knife. And I then looked on the internet and discovered that Peter James, who is a very, very well-known crime writer in England, and also a close personal friend of mine, had written that book, A Twist of the Knife. And my publisher and I went into an absolute meltdown because we so loved the title and didn't want to be seen to be stealing from Peter James. And so I then had the brilliant idea, well, okay, fine, we'll just change the 2 words around and make it The Twist of a Knife, to make it an original title. But I do notice that there is a rather devious character in Peter's new book, which was published a couple of weeks ago, called Anthony Horowitz. So I think he found out about this and he's taken his revenge.
Oh my God, he's taking his revenge on the page.
I have a feeling. So I haven't read the book yet. I'll let you know when I've read it.
Now, Anthony, you've got to clap back to him. What you've got to say, you've got to come back something on the page now at Peter. I mean, you can't let him get away with that.
The titles are hard work. I mean, the whole idea of this book series was they were all going to have titles to do with books because, they are all about a writer, me. And so the first book, a line, the word is murder. That's word. The second book, the sentence is death. The third book, A Line to Kill. But I've run out of book titles. And in fact, in this new 4th book, there is a whole section on how I can't think up any more titles, but have got, literary allusions in them. Book number 6 is going to be called The Killer Question. So that goes back to.
Oh, I love that. I love it. A killer question?
Yes, The Killer Question, unless somebody else has already done it.
Okay, perfect. So that's book 6?
Yes.
And do you have a title for book number 5 yet?
No, I don't have a title, but I have the plot.
Ooh, Anthony. Okay, so you're dropping all sorts of gems today. So the killer question will be book number 6. You heard it here first, mystery and thriller fans. You heard it here first. You also, or let's take a look at this one. Booklist awarding you a starred review, raving Horowitz continues to delight in mixing real life. His own play, Mind Game, was staged in London, and fiction, as well as juxtaposing Horowitz as nebbish against the always 3 steps ahead Hawthorne. Not to worry, their relationship isn't over quite yet. There's much more to discover, and readers will be waiting eagerly for more from one of the best mystery writers around, awarding you again a starred review. The star reviews are just coming in left and right, Anthony, and you have earned them. Congratulations. The Wall Street Journal raving that you are gleefully witty. And
From Nolan.
Tom Nolan, and the Washington Post saying an adventure that will enchant mystery lovers, Anglophiles, and theater buffs. Anthony, you are a delight. Everybody, here again is the link to pre-order. So grab your copy now, and then let us know if you guessed it right over there in Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Anthony, anything else you want to share with us before we sign off?
Only once again, my apologies for the slightly late start, again, which is unforgivable, but that is just my assistant Tess will be hitting me with a cricket bat tomorrow morning when she meets me, and to say that, you know, to wish everybody a happy holiday, really, because they are coming our way quite soon. Thanksgiving next week. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. I hope your turkey is going to be as golden and as delicious as I hope mine will be.
Oh, Anthony, you are a treasure. Thank you so much for joining us. And please come back next year.
Sarah, I will always love talking to you.
Come back next year for book number 5, as yet untitled, and book number 6, The Killer Question, which we have just learned right now. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I'll be back at the top of the hour with Asma Zahanet Khan and Blackwater Falls. In the meantime, we have Anthony Horowitz live from the UK giving us the inside scoop on the twist of the knife. Anthony, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks, everybody. Good night or good day.